Okay, so welcome to another online event with Dublin Coding School. This one is an online lesson or introductory lesson on data analytics and the data analytics tool and language Python. So we're going to be joined in a moment by our lecturer, John George, who I'll introduce. But first of all, for those of you watching who maybe don't know who Dublin Coding School are, I'd just like to maybe let you know who we are. So we're a tech education provider based in Dublin, been around now since the start of the year. We're not a complete startup. We have 3 other schools which are based across Europe, which have been running for 5 years. So we've really tested our model. We have short courses in, obviously, data analytics. The next one going on the 14th of June, which runs for 8 weeks. But we also have courses in web development, automation, testing, software testing, and we're putting things together now in UX design and cybersecurity. We also then have a career center, so all of our students get access to that once they've completed a course. And what happens there is we help you with your CV, your online presence, and help you prepare for interviews. We also share your CV with our partner companies. So we partner with companies throughout Ireland who tip us off when they have open roles for entry-level or interns in the fields of data analytics, web development, and automation testing, as an example, and we share the CVs with them to just try and give you that extra bit of help. So I might talk a bit more about the courses at the end, but I just maybe like to introduce now our lecturer for the evening, John George, who is a Senior Data Analyst at Bank of Ireland. Good evening, Johns.
Hey, Luke, nice to be here. Hi, everyone. So my name is John George. I'm a Senior Data Analyst at the Bank of Ireland.
Fantastic, thanks a lot. So Johns is one of our lecturers here on data analytics. So what I'll do now is I'll just hand over to Johns, who might share his screen and start the lesson and go through it. Now, by the way, just before we start, if you have any questions at all, type them in to Facebook and we will get to the questions at the end. So if you're watching this and any questions at all, type them in and we'll get to them at the end. Okay, thanks. Over to you, Johns.
Perfect. Hope you can see the screen now. And yeah, so this is basically the introductory course for data analytics and the Python. So I'll tell a bit about myself. So as I said, my name is John, and I've been a data analyst for past almost 3 years now. So I started my career like I did my bachelor's in computer science from Dublin Institute of Technology, and now it's called Technology University of Dublin. But when I studied it, I did an internship in software engineering with Liberty IT, and then I was not sure if this is what I wanted to do. And then I took a year off in 3rd year and went to a startup company called UniPeople, where I was a data analyst and a developer. So that's when I found my new interest in the data field. And then I came back to college and finished my final year, and then I specialized on modules like database and other machine learning subjects. And then I went to Bank of Ireland and joined as a data analyst, and recently got promoted to Senior Data Analyst. So that's a bit about myself, and I will quickly go over why Python and what we going to talk about in what we can use in Python for. So Python is like one of the most widely used programming languages, similar to Java, JavaScript, or C#. But compared to those languages, Python is one of the most simple, I would say, very close to SQL in terms of learning it. And Python, not only for data analysis, it can be used for developing websites or mobile applications or machine learning and much more. So just like I said, the reason why it's better to learn Python is it's easy to learn for a person who doesn't come from a technical or non-analytical background. It's very easy to learn, and it's heavily used in data analysis, machine learning, and it has a very large community. When I mean community, there's a huge amount of developers who use Python. So using Python, you can actually develop, just like mobile applications, websites, machine learning. So because of the community, there are so much documentation available online. So whenever you come across a problem, you can just simply Google it and find a solution. There will be hundreds of people who has had this same issue as yours. So because the larger community, it's much easier to learn. Then when I say corporate darling, whenever you look at a job these days for data analysis, most of the times, why we say corporate darling. And moving to why Python for data. So Python can be used in many areas, simple as a data analysis tool, or if you go a bit more advanced, it can be used in machine learning or artificial intelligence. So if you want to predict something using the historical data in a long run, saying this has happened in the past, so this is going to happen in the future. So all this can be used using the Python, and it is capable of using complex problems. And there are, just like I said, many things Python can be used for. So there are a lot of libraries, packages, I can talk about more in the next slide, available that can be used to process, manipulate, and finally visualize the data. So visualizing as in creating a bar chart or any kind of graph or like a map view, anything can be used to provide these insights using the Python. So it's before I said, like, it's very easy to learn for people who come from non-technical background, and the support for the community available online is very high. And to start off for Python, it's relatively easy. Like, there's a application called Anaconda. It's basically a software. I can show it to you very soon. And after you download that Anaconda, there's something called Jupyter. It's available inside the Anaconda, and that's where you can kickstart learning Python. So moving on to libraries available. So these are the 4 basic libraries that you might come across while using Python for data science. So first thing I would say is talk about Panda. Panda is like specifically while working on the data, it's like a bread and butter for data analyst. You can actually create, read and write data using Panda, or you can manipulate data and you can validate it. You can say, for instance, you have a large amount of data with age not being populated very often. So you can use Panda to see where the age is missing, and then what to do with the missing fields. So these are all can be easily be done in Panda. And then for NumPy, a library that's mostly used for a bit more advanced, I would say, for mathematical and statistic operations. And the other one, the Matplot, is the visualization library. You can create all type of visualization using using the Matplot library. And finally, the scikit-learn. I think that would be one of the most advanced one in the Python. It is used for very machine learning work, AI, and to predict what a customer would be using in the future. So that's a basic of what the Python is. Now I will quickly show a very brief introduction of what Python as a language will look like. So first I want to show you what Anaconda is. So this is what you get as an Anaconda. This is the software. And once you download the Anaconda, all you need to do is launch the Jupyter notebook. So Jupyter notebook, once it's opened, it will look something like this. So here you can start coding. You can write as simple as print to hello. So that is one of the most simplest things you can do with Python. Print whatever you wanted to. Now I can show you a little more very basic introduction. When I say Python is very easy to learn, it's very easy, as in when you write 1 + 1 = 2, you can get the results back compared to other languages like Java, JavaScript, or C#, for instance, where you have to declare all the variables first. There's a lot more in the background, compared to what's Python. Python, it's much more easier, I would say. Then it's simple mathematical calculation, like 5 multiplied by 5, or this 2 multiplied 2 plus 5 multiplied by 5 all get you 29. And another one I would say, just like you did in school, you can declare a variable as a x, and then you say x value is 2, and then y value is 4. Then I can say x plus y, z is x plus y. Then I can print out z, that is basically 6. These kind of simple operations can be done Python, and it's not very hard to understand. So it's not just numerical values. You can type it out in variables. It can be like, just like I said, you can put x as a hello world. It's a alphabetical, and I can ask to print it out. When I say x, then it will print out the x value, hello world. You can either say x to print it out, or you can say print x. Both will give you the same thing, hello world. Or I can say something called name equals John's and age equals 41. So it doesn't have to be name. I can do the same thing, x equals John's or y equals 41. So it's to be more easier to understand. I just said name John's and age 41. And to print it out, I can say print. My name is curly brackets, and my age is curly brackets. And I can say format name and age. So first format, the name will go into first curly brackets, and age will go into second curly brackets. So when I print it out, it will say my name is John's and my age is 41. I will give you 2 more examples of very basic Python. And say, for instance, I want to look at what the age was. Here I say my age is 41. So you want to say, if my age is greater than 41, print generation X. If else, this is supposed to be if else, but in Python we say ELIF, sorry. Age is less than 30, I will say it's a millennial. So since my age is 41, this will go into age greater than 40, then it will be generation X. So here you go, generation X. So I hope that makes sense. I know there's more other generation like baby boomer, generation Z nowadays. This is just to make it more simple. Then, for instance, here we did say, we can print out hello world just by print hello, print X. So that will print out hello world. Say, for instance, you want to print hello world 10 times or 3 times. So for that, it's as simple as saying there's something called for loop in Python. So you can say X equals hello world, and then I can say for I, just like any other letter, I can say Y, P, anything. So for I equals range of 10, that's 10 times, print the value of X. So it will go on I 1 time, I 2 time, I 3 time. It will go till 10 times and print it 10 times. I can do 25 times, and it will again print 25 times hello world. So these are the very basic Python commands. These things can be learned with very couple of days. Then comes in the other data related packages like Panda, NumPy, all these ones. I can show you very basic of Panda, what it look like. How do you import Panda to this Python Jupyter library? So say all you need to say is import Panda as PD. So that will import all the Panda package to this particular notebook. Then I need to declare a variable or a data frame. And I can say dataset equals PD, that is the Panda, and dot read Excel file. And I can just mention where this Excel file is located in my system. So this particular Excel file is this superstore data. So this superstore data is basically what you can see like a store like IKEA sold to their customers around some places in the US, and how much of those sold customers did get discounts on all those things. So all I need to import this is import this Panda library, and then declare this variable, and then tell it the PD, the Panda, to read the Excel file. So that will read it. And then finally, if I want to see this particular data set, say if I want to see the 10 10 of the first rows in that file. So all I need to do is dataset.head, give me 10 rows. That'll get me the 10 rows of that particular file. So this is kind of like a basic examples. I can give you what you do. Then comes in, start analyzing the data. How much of these customers got a discount? How many customers did order still without a discount? And are we making a loss? Or how many of these customers did return the items they ordered? So what's the percentage of items that's been returned, or which state has the highest returns? These can be analyzed using Python and Panda or any other libraries available. Yeah, so this is basically the introduction of the Python. Yeah, I will hand it over to you back, Luke.
Thank you very much, John. So some interesting insight there. It's great to see a live example to how it looks like under the hood, if you like, that actually works in practice. I'd also like to say to anyone watching, if you have any questions, then now would be the time to ask them. I know we've had some emailed in, and I actually had a couple myself as well. But what I was going to ask myself was, what would be, and I know we talked a bit before we went live on this, what do you think would be the top 3 attributes that someone would need to be a good data analyst?
The first thing you need is the skill set, technical skill set, like learning Python, SQL, SQL, or visualization tool like Tableau or Power BI. So these are the most used tools, I would say, in a data analysis role. And then that's the first technical skill set you need. Then second, I would say, is communication or soft skills. So technical skills only come 50% of your job. The rest 50, I would say, is soft skills. Soft skills like communication, communicating to the stakeholders, or communicating through emails, going to the meetings and asking questions, or doing a lot of presentations of the insights you found through your analysis work. So that would be the second attribute. And the third would be, I would say, dedication and commitment you put to yourself, learning these new skill sets.
Right. Okay. The motivation. And by stakeholders, I know we spoke before, you mean other departments that you might be working with, because is it like the marketing team might want to know an answer to a question like what sold most last month, or the finance team might want to know other information about data. So is that who you mean by stakeholders?
Exactly. It could be different departments. Say, in a banking perspective, I would say a mortgage department would come and ask, what happened to this data at this point of time, or a debit card data. They would ask what happened to transactions at this point of date, or recently after COVID happened, there was a much higher spike in contactless payment, as you might have imagined. So you want to see that trend and all those things. So those are the stakeholders, people who request for these analysis, and then we need to communicate back and forth, go to meetings, present your analysis work. So all these things is soft skills. It's very important.
Right. Okay. And also a question that seems to come up a lot. I know when we talk, to students who are thinking about taking a course in data analytics, something that does come up a lot is, do you need to be good at mathematics or maths to be a data analyst?
Yeah, it's a common thought that comes to people's mind. If people actually need mathematics, it's good to have it, but to be a data analyst, mostly the skill set you need is basic maths knowledge, the knowledge you learn from school level, to add, multiply, to divide, or to understand how to get a percentage out of your numbers. So these are the only skills that you need to be a data scientist. So if you go to a very advanced level of machine learning or artificial intelligence, then you would need actually a bit more work. But to be a data analyst, I would never say you need a mathematical degree or statistics degree.
Okay, so it's really down to hard work and
yeah, exactly. It's just a commitment you put to yourself.
Yeah, that's right. And even from looking in these lessons and seeing, you see that it's technical, but it's not always mathematical. So I wouldn't be scared away with that. Just by the way, if anyone is watching, before we close the show, to get a question in, just type it into the Facebook feed, and I'll see them all here, and I'll ask John's. I know just before we went on air with the broadcast, you told me a really good story about the American data analyst who spotted something, and it showed really the value of a data analyst and how they can make a difference, even in a live retail environment. Maybe you could tell that story to the viewers.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of years back, I think even before 2000s, I would say, there was a supermarket in US, I'm not going to name it. So they did an analysis work on what their male customers was ordering. And what they found interesting was male customers who buy beer is most likely to end up buying a diaper as well. So this is the kind of, they never thought they will come across this. So what they did was they put the beer aisle next to diapers, and the sales just skyrocketed. So these are the kind of insights you would get. You will find similar things like, why a bread or milk is at the very end of the supermarket. It's not like the supermarket is making you work for the milk and bread. It's just, while you walk across these aisles, you will definitely see more products. You are most likely to buy these things. So you will see discounted products, you will just buy it. Or even people say, why banana is in the very front of the supermarket. It's just, not just because everyone needs it, it's just also impulse buy. I actually didn't know it, but apparently a banana is one of the items. It's an impulse buy. You just see it and you just pick it up. So those are the kind of interesting insights you look at, find using the data.
Okay, yeah, and I suppose that's the value of analyzing data, and this is, I suppose, ultimately what it's doing is solving business problems. And some good examples in the retail section. We've actually just had a question come through, so I'll read it out to you, Johns.
Yeah.
And this is coming from Clinta. Thank you very much for your question. She says, hello. So hello.
Hey.
If I have no prior knowledge in Python, what would be the best way to learn it? So maybe I could probably answer that, but I'll let you answer first. What would be the best way to learn Python without any prior knowledge?
So without any prior knowledge, the school itself provides the platform. And apart from that, there's a lot of materials available in why I'd say Python is easy to learn is because, just like before I said, so many people actually use it. So the documentation available online is just massive. So whenever you come across, or you just want to learn it or come across any problems in Python, it's just type it out in Google and you will definitely find hundreds of solutions for it. It's just not one type, you will come across hundreds of types of solutions. And just even to kickstart, there are multiple websites, I would say, is easier to learn from. And here we provide, in Dublin Coding School, we have SQL, Python, and Tableau integrated into one course.
Yeah, exactly right. So what you're saying, I mean, we obviously offer the course, which is 8 weeks long. It's very intensive. It's 3 evenings per week. We currently have a group of students who started this month who are just approaching their second or third week now. So they're doing Tuesday evenings, Wednesday and Thursday evenings from 6:30 till 9:30. All the lectures are live over Zoom like this, online. And there's also a student hub where all the notes and the recordings of the past lectures are, and it's 50% theory. So you're getting, you're getting a lecture from a top professional like John's or our other lecturers. And then it's also maybe 40-50% practical. So you're also then working on these concepts. You're working on Python, you're writing that code, you're working on Tableau, you're extracting data using SQL. So it's very hands-on vocational learning is the way we approach it. So that's really the way, and this is a tested formula. So we believe you can learn it all within 8 weeks, and then we give you what's called a second chance. So if you're on the course, within 12 calendar months, you can resit it to refresh your knowledge with a different lecturer, absolutely free. So I think we're the only coding school that do that. We've just had another question come in here from Ilya. She's saying, how long normally does it take to learn Python? So we've just answered that. So yeah, we believe it's 8 weeks, and it's one of the core modules within our data analytics course. And the next one starts on the 14th of June. And John's, just another one's come through now. So we've had one from Alex, who I believe I might have been chatting to earlier, letting you know where to go to find the course. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
He's saying, hello, I'm learning Java and C# in college. And to see Python language, it really seems easier to learn. Okay. So do you think he's saying C looks easier than Java and C#? What do you think?
Yeah, in my own personal opinion, yes, it is. I have worked in Java and C#, and JavaScript. And compared to those languages, Python is very easy to learn. So just like any other language, it's a learning is one thing and mastering is another thing. You can learn a language and, mastering is take a bit more commitment from yourself. You can learn a language within a couple of days, but it takes a real commitment to be master at the language. And you will always come across this problem. Like I come across SQL and Python problems all the time. I either ask my colleagues or just Google it myself. So
yeah, and that's a very good point. It's maybe easy to learn, but then there's levels upon levels, isn't there, once you get into it? So, and just to point out, the data analytics courses at Dublin Coding School, they're for beginners. So we're teaching you the basics, they're introductory courses, and we train you to an entry level. So we train you to the level where you'll be able to get a job as an entry-level data analyst and then begin your career to work your way up. So we're not training you to an advanced level, we will be training you to an entry level. So now I'll just maybe give you a chance. If there's any more questions, do put them into Facebook. I'll keep an eye on it here. But I'll maybe just let you know a bit more about the school now. We had a bit at the start. So obviously we said we're Dublin Coding School. The next course is on the 14th of June. We do keep the classes small. So if you want to get involved, now's the best time to book. And we limit it to 12 students per course. And the reason we do that is we want you to build a community, to get to know each other. We also want it to be easy to ask questions and for the lecturer to pay the right amount of attention to every student. So once we have 12 students, we limit it at that, and then you'd need to get into the next course, which would probably be going 2 weeks or 4 weeks later. I did mention the second chance. So when you book on, you get to do the course twice within 12 months. And that's really if you want to refresh your knowledge. You might get a job as a data analyst and you want to just go back and refresh and in Python or in Tableau, and that's perfectly okay. It's part of the package. I should mention all of our students get access to a career center. So once you've got your certificate in data analytics and completed your project, it's all about continuous assessment, you'll have done a project, you get enrolled in the career center. And there we help you with your CV. So we write it in a technical way with keywords. I know sometimes CVs get blocked by algorithms, so we try and get around those. And we also help you prepare for technical interviews, as you mightn't have done those before. And we also get your CV out to partner companies. And we'll help you for even up to a year afterwards. We'll keep you on the books and be putting your CV out there when it's appropriate and helping you out. So we don't just close the door and throw our students away. We really like to keep track of how you're getting on and did you get a job afterwards. That's really our whole thing, is trying to get you into a new career path. And so they're vocational courses in that way. So that's really it. If you want to get in touch with us, the website is dublincoding.ie. So that's dublincoding.ie. You can get me at Luke, L-U-K-E, I'm the general manager, luke@dublincoding.ie. If you want to know about any of the courses, and if you want a consultation, you can get hold of me. And that's really just about it for this evening. I'll just check. That was it for the questions too. If so, I'd like to maybe give Johns a chance to say good evening.
Yeah, I want to wish everyone a good evening and hope you all get started with the course.
Fantastic, thank you very much. And just to say, John George is Senior Data Analyst at Bank of Ireland. He'll be one of our regular lecturers here. He'll be taking a group in July, I believe. And we have a group going now in June, on June the 14th, with Daniel, who's one of our other lecturers, who's a Senior Data Analyst at TikTok. So we look forward to seeing you on one of those courses. But for now, it's thank you and good night. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Bye.